and spa. We have, I forgot to tell that we have mineral spring in the center of our area. We mentioned it in our description, but we haven't decided how to use this. And now with this feature that should be incorporated, the water, we decided to use it for mineral pool and spa, for sustainability. I'll explain this later, and in the exterior design of the site. As water, we don't think this is exactly sustainable actually. We think it's more reasonable, because this should be done. It's not something that is done just like that. It should be done. We're using the mineral spring for ventilation and for cooling in the winter, in the summer, and for warming the building in the winter. Also, we're gathering the rainwater on the roof, because we have green roof, and we think water should not be wasted. We are gathering it and using it for sanitary needs, and the excess is flushed back to the ground. Yeah, this is the water in the area where it appears, and these are some final renderings of the area and how we picture it. Yeah, here you can see everything. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks very much for that. I'll pass over maybe to Michael.
Thanks very much for that. You called it Gathering Generations, and started off, the last topic in each group of what those two generations needed was special care. So the older generation needs special care and the younger generation needs special care. And your abandoned children need very special care, I think. They don't have a loving family, they don't have support, they're living on the streets. And the older people are heading towards the same idea that they need very special care. It seems to me to leave out the generation that can provide that care. Is there a chance it could end up as chaos? You've got 24-hour gym, health and spa. You've got abandoned children. You've got needy elderly people. Where's the care? Where's the control? Where's the special needs? How do you cater for that? It is my...
Well, we need that these two generations firstly need to be loved. So we believe that if they are gathered, they can care each other and love each other. They will live together, and I believe that they will.
I understand, and I agree 100%. They can care for each other, maybe emotionally, but what about beyond that? Who's going to do the cooking?
Well, this will be organized by the building. We believe that pool and spa also needs to be. Also
so there's
needs to
care
be
within the
organized
building.
by the other people. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I was wondering a little bit about you have. I mean, I think it's great that you gathered all these sort of social opportunities within the building. What are your thoughts on what extra social activities then these, what did you call them, the interactive cells? And what is the purpose?
Yes, we separate some apartments for this elderly and dependent children in one side, because immigration percentage there also is very high. So there are a lot of elderly who live alone in their apartments, and they even didn't go out because they don't have a chance. They, for example, disabled people don't have conditions to go out to the upper levels of the buildings. And inside of these apartments, we are open this whole space for them to get children. I I mean that in this site there are a lot of elderly who lives in the near area. And there are a lot of rest homes also near this area. And we believe that they also have need to be on the site and to use it. So all these interactive cells are open from June. And we think that if there is providing some kind of art or some, I don't know, there could be organized some exhibitions in the good time and some concerts even on this stadium which is in the site. We were planning that they could be organized also theaters, some many activities.
I like the idea of these little generator models. The premise of inserting these into abandoned spaces and using them as kind of catalysts so that there's someone that owns the space. And there are a lot of cities where we always enjoy many of the even worse problems in terms of abandoned sites. And it's fairly modest in size, but it could have a big impact on energizing the space and making it become a city. I'm wondering if you need, why those small buildings? I don't understand the small buildings, the interaction. It almost waters down what's happening in the building in terms of the interaction. When the interaction between the old and the young happening in the bigger building, why do you need these smaller buildings as well? What's the difference?
These cells are the main space for interaction because they can be rearranged every time. And they can become different every time. In the building,
Are there interaction spaces in the big building?
in the big building, there is more like library. The spaces there have different certain usage. Library, internet, or a room for chess, or for billiard, or anything else. And interactive cells can change every time. They can be rearranged, and the people could use it for their need right now. They can be different every time. That's why we call them interactive cells. And the result can be different every time.
Yeah, I was going to pick up on probably very similar points to Ralph. It strikes me it's really good you're dealing with this kind of problem. There's a kind of movement mainly in America called landscape urbanism, and it strikes me this is classic landscape urbanism. You take a brownfield and post-industrial site, you try to think of some way of reintegrating it, returning it to nature, etc. But the problem always is the buildings, because there's a slight contradiction. If you want to return it to nature, why do you build on it? So I think this idea of how much architecture you need is one thing. The second one is the thing I can't believe quite are the apartments. Yeah, because you've done the classic thing of having a rather elegant curved building, which looks very nice in the renders, but then when you draw the apartments, you've straightened the whole thing out, haven't you? That apartment doesn't exist, does it? That one, the interior plan there. It doesn't exist.
It's abstract apartment.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's abstract.
It doesn't exist.
These are a little curved.
Okay, let's put my point. It doesn't exist, right? Because if you start curving that, what will those rooms be like? What the bedroom's going to be like, and all this kind of stuff. And I just think, in some ways, it feels like it's been forced into it. And if it had been a much more interactive building, the whole building had been this kind of more unplanned space, activity space that people would go to, these spontaneous things, the sports could take place. I just think it'd be more convincing than trying to tell us that there's apartments in there. I just find that slightly lets the proposal down for me anyway. But I think there's lots of very good ideas in this as well. And as I say, as a park, it looks like a rather nice park. But I don't believe the apartments.
Can you, you know the green space in the middle there, at what level is that?
It's this space.
That green space you're pointing at there, is that on the ground?
It's going to be on the first floor, and then we have a hole. It's a hole in the middle. It's going up, and then the roof could be open or closed, whatever the need. in the winter it could be closed. Yeah.
And then, so if we talk about the plan, because we'll get into a little bit of detail now, you showed 2 beds in a single bedroom.
Yes.
Yeah, and no possibility of varying that, so you have 2 unrelated people sharing a bed. What I'm trying to get at is that a standalone apartment where you're fully self-sustained, or are you supported in that? So what happens? There seems to be 2 people in the bedroom, and it's a single bedroom apartment. This might be just an example, and you might have a whole lot. But what happens when I start to need more help? And I'm living there, I have someone else living with me, is it a stranger? I'm not sure. But what happens in this complex when I start needing a little bit of help, and then I start needing a little bit more help? I'm becoming more frail as I get older.
Well, we will give you some example for this how this building could be organized. So for that, it's perpendicular right now. It's not curvy as the plan. And this is just one example. We're sure that there could be just one people in these rooms, and I don't think that we will put 2 different people, 2 unknown in one room. Maybe they are friends and they want to, they could, but in fact we were thinking there to be just one people, and the other bed could be removed, or it could be used for the siblings of the elderly if someone come to see him and want to stay for a night or 2, and so.
We essentially think that people should not be alone, and they should not live alone. Even if they need care, we think it would be better if there is someone else in the room, also, in the apartment. They can talk, they can share. I think it's much easier that way.
I think he wants a second bedroom in there. He wants another bedroom. Okay. Okay, thanks very much for that. Again, very thoughtful, and thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, that's the 7 people we've seen. Now it's the turn of the judges to do some work. So we're going to go off and discuss the merits. I think we've been impressed by the energy, by the range of ideas. None of the schemes were similar, which is really quite remarkable. There were 7 very, very different takes on this idea of dealing with and caring for the aging population. So well done to that. We're going to discuss the merits, and we're going to take probably about an hour, and it will be announced tonight, Jeremy, is that right? There'll be about 6-ish or something there.
I'm not sure the timing.
Anyway, I'm afraid we won't be able to let you know the results, but what we can do is hand out the certificates for all the entrant teams. So all the team who've been shortlisted to come here, and it's really good that you've been shortlisted in the first place. You'll get a certificate. I'm guessing there's only 1 each, so I'll leave that to you. So we'll give this to you, and you can find some way. You can share it on a weekly basis. You can share it with each other. But anyway, we're going to pass these out, and I'll just read them out in the order they're here, not in the order they're presented. So if you'd like to come up and get your certificate, we'll give it to you and say thank you very much for taking part. The first one is for the Ho Chi Minh City University, Vietnam. Somebody would like to come up and get it. Okay, thank you. The second one is from the team we've just heard from Sofia, Bulgaria. The next one is from the Ferrara University in Italy. And the next one is from Mari, Moscow in Russia. And then the next one is from Bhopal in India. The next is Singapore, UTD. And then we've got one from the Philippines, Cebu City. And I think I've got here a second one from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Somebody, the photocopier must have gone mad, so there's a second one here for me. Okay, thanks very much everybody, and look forward to the result later today. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for taking part. Thank you to our judges for their...
Satisfaction.